All right, we're live now. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening to everybody. My name's Eric, and this is a special episode of Once Upon a Game because it's a holiday here in the States, and I don't have to work today, so I can stream and play games in the morning. So this is a special opportunity because I can finally get to play with some of my friends over in Europe. So how's it going, everybody? I brought with me today Tlick and Sterling. Before we jump into the game and everything like that, how about let's introduce ourselves?
I'm Tlick. Tlick in pretty much everywhere. Tlick LO0 because 100 is taken on Twitter. That's a thing. Um, and once upon a time I streamed a bit, and that may become a thing, I don't know. But that's Tlick 100 here at Twitch, so it's really all I do.
Awesome.
I'm Sterling, the first Sterling. I normally mod for Adam Coble, and that's my entire internet presence as it is. Never streamed. I've done streams, but never hosted my own.
Great. Awesome. So today we're going to be playing story games. This is going to be a one-shot game. Then we're going to be doing sort of like a wrap-up, sort of like a talk about the game at the end, and that will be it. And the game that we chose to play today is a GMless horror game called Lovecraftesque. It is a game that's supposed to emulate the narrative pacing and style of a Lovecraft story. So very, very slow build up until the final revelation or the final horror at the very end. We'll together we'll be coming up with sort of like the setting and like the world and who our main character will be, and then we'll be taking turns rotating between playing that character and playing the world. But by and large, before we jump into this, there's one really important rule for playing story games, and that is the X card, because we're going to be playing a game. It's a one shot and it's a story game, which lets us be able to hold back or not hold back sort of anything that we want to say or kind of like put forward into the world maybe. And so sort of like an emergency brake, we have the X card, which is if anything should be discomforting or something that you really just don't want to see in the game, you just share with us saying like, hey, I don't really want to see that actually, or can we X that out? I'm not really feeling that. And like magic, it's gone. You don't have to explain why. I trust you. We trust each other. That we know what we like and dislike. And even if you agree to something that you're kind of on the fence about, and then you realize about 30 minutes into it that this is totally not what you signed up for, it's okay. You can go back and say like, I'm sorry guys, can we X this out? It's not working. So, are you guys okay with that? That rule trumping any other rule that we're gonna read together? Okay, great, cool. Awesome. So let's look at the rules together. So Lovecraftesque is a really cool game because it comes with a teaching guide, which makes it so I can just send this PDF over to my friends 5 minutes before we start and just be like, just turn to this page and we're going to do it together. So there's no real actual need for everyone at the table to know the rules by heart. Just hopefully the facilitator knows a little bit, and I will be facilitating this game just to answer any sort of questions. But just because I'm a facilitator, that doesn't mean that I'm like the GM and have the final say in what gets entered into this game or not. Because this is a game. This is like a GMless game or a GM full game where we rotate it. I'm not really sure what you call it, but basically one person does not have sole authority over this game. I just myself and just how Sterling and Tlick do, we all have minority stakes as a person compared to the group, because like we have each a 33% stake in this story. So it's not going to be any one particular story. It's going to be our story together. So with that out of the way, let's look through the teaching guide. And I will start because as the facilitator, the rules say this is what will happen. So we're going to use this teaching guide to help us learn the game. We'll read it out section by section as we play, so that we're not trying to learn all the rules in one go. And if you got any questions, Sterling or Tlick, feel free to ask me. But don't worry.
Sure.
if the scenes that early on, if the scenes aren't really you're not really sure how they get connected to the very end of the game and everything like that, we'll work it out in due course. So the player to my left would be Tlick. So Tlick, how would you read the next part?
All right. This is a storytelling game to recreate the slow-building classic horror of H.P. Lovecraft. We're going to take turns and reveal strange clues, one scene at a time. We won't discuss where the story is going, but after each scene, we'll privately leap to conclusions about what the clues mean, and then use those speculations to steer our contributions to the story. In the end, one of us will weave it all together into a terrifying finale.
Thank you. Sterling, the next part?
I'm really lost where we are.
Sorry. Starts on page 39
Yep.
of the teaching guide, part 1.
Okay,
We are currently 2 things below the facilitator part.
which one's the facilitator on the Google Drive? The teaching guide even, or is it the first one?
It's number 1,
first,
Lovecraftesque guide.
Okay.
Sorry.
Number 139.
Okay. While you're finding it, I'll just take care of the next part.
Thank you.
Yep. So each scene we'll be taking turns playing the witness, the narrator, or the watchers. So the witness is the main character. They are the person who gradually uncovers a terrible, inhuman kind of secret. They will try to struggle, against that secret, but ultimately they are doomed to fail and perhaps meet a terrible end. The narrator reveals the strange clues, describes the people, sort of like the world, and places the events that the witness gets caught up in, as well as maybe playing any sort of like walk-on NPC parts. Then lastly is the watchers, and watchers help the narrator by adding layers of spooky atmosphere and horrifying details. They can also help reveal any particular like extra clues or something like that, as well as they're able to assist the narrator in playing secondary characters.
Before we start, we all have a clear picture of the kind of story we want to tell. Lovecraftian horror stories are about a vast, uncaring universe full of lurking monsters, alien civilizations, and terrifying gods that make human concerns seem meaningless. They do not include ghosts or werewolves, or any of the monsters you see in classic Gothic horror stories, folk tales, or Hollywood movies.
Thank you. So, Lovecraft describes alien monsters like those found in modern science fiction and presents them as denizens of an arcane horror story. The stars in space are vast and terrifying, not wondrous and inspiring. Lovecraft supports this with ancient tomes full of blasphemous texts, blasphemous secrets, and sorcerers casting sinister rituals to summon abominations from beyond. So now we're going to start by agreeing who this witness is and the setting for our story. So we're going to go through this stuff and sort of agree at one at a time. If we get stuck, there's a inspiration kind of table in the rules that we can use. I've never had to refer to it yet. So let's get cracking here. How we're going to be formulating this stuff together. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up with our setting or our era of our story. So, what are we feeling? It doesn't have to be historical either. Like, typically Lovecraft stories occur in like the 20s or whatever, but it doesn't have to.
So a modern setting would be interesting just for like a change in scenery compared to other Lovecraftian tales, but we could also go farther back. Like both of those sound interesting to me for different reasons. I'd love to see how technology is affected by the presence of such Lovecraftian horrors. That's a thing.
Sure. What are you feeling, Sterling?
I've recently been playing 2 games, Silent Hill 2 and I forget what it's called, something Darkness. Silent Hills 2 is the most recent one, which is the most Lovecraftian I can think of, and the other one is set over a period of time with different characters. I'm both interested in seeing how a medieval setting would fit into this. to modern day. I don't know which one I prefer.
Okay. I was gonna throw out there space.
Like far future.
Yeah, far future.
I quite
That's
like
also, I mean, that still uses the how does the Lovecraftian horror affect technology, and
Yes.
it'd be interesting to see how the Eldritch abomination
Yeah.
travels from place to place, terrifying everything as it goes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. I need to. I think I need to point this out too. So because even though the game's called Lovecraftesque and we're mirroring a Lovecraft story, knowledge of the mythos not necessary. Because since we're going to be coming up with the horror together based on the clues that we come up with, it probably won't reflect anything in the mythos. It'll be equally terrifying though. So,
Yeah, I'm cool with a like stars
Build your own, yeah.
esque setting.
okay.
That's I'm
So we
cool
want
with
to
that.
do far future.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Okay. Should this? Okay, I guess we can come up with different things from the locations as well on the locations part of this. So, so we're gonna do far future. I'll say space. So, the next part will be coming up with the main location. This will be the site where the majority of action can take place. Doesn't have to, but it's almost more like just like a priming kind of thing of like where we want to tell our story.
So since we're doing it in far future, do we want to come up with a city, a town, or a planet? Just,
I'm thinking deep space. I'm thinking some sort of isolated
Research station.
Yeah, something like
research
that.
station, a drift mining ship, something like that.
Okay.
Like deep space. Probe,
Derelict,
something like that.
derelict space station.
Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. Okay. Then now we should each come up with possibly one other location. It could be a subset from the space station, or it could be something else.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm gonna. All right. So essentially the space station is in like a system named Ares, and then like at the opposite side of the system there's a would that count as a setting, or would there be like, would you want me to come up with like an actual planet or city within like the limits?
So a location is somewhere that the witness can visit. So
Okay, thanks.
it's that vague.
Cool. Let's go with a planet on the opposite side of the system, named Phaley.
Sure. I'll write it in. How do you want to spell Phaley? Faylea or?
Yeah, that works.
And what kind of? Is it a populated planet?
Probably not by like what we would consider intelligent life.
So I mean, is there anyone who lives on that planet, or is it?
There's probably like a colonization effort.
Oh, okay.
That may or may not be succeeding.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I'll say I don't know, colonizing planet. In the process of being colonized.
Yeah.
Sure. Awesome. We'll come up with the details and stuff through play. Hey, Hyrule Spy. Well, thanks for joining us, man. So, the next part will be Sterling's location. What are you thinking?
I've always liked the idea of a space station attached to an object in space, so like an asteroid that the space station is anchored on.
Cool.
The space station probably is built into the asteroid. They haven't built a separate structure; it's in the asteroid.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Okay.
Very okay with that.
So I'll say that.
I assume. So I assume something on the asteroid is like why that's like either it's near something that they're studying actively, or the asteroid itself is what they're studying. I'd imagine based off that.
Yeah. So the well, I think we might get a good idea maybe from the witness, and if we don't, then we'll discover it through play. So,
Sure.
asteroid, I'll say the space station is anchored, built into.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so the next part, so now we have our sort of like crazy space station and our planet. I need to come up with an actual location as well. I'm gonna come up with the vessel that goes between that's like a spaceship that actually goes between different places, so we can have some like in route kind of stuff.
Sure.
And it will be called the shit, I'm terrible at names right now. It's so early.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Always a good one.
I'll just call it the Cutlass.
That was good too.
The Cutlass, and that is a small, I'll say swan song like ship.
Yeah.
It will take a small amount of goods.
Cargo,
and people.
passenger ship. Spaceship.
They're not really small, just medium sized.
Yeah. It's, well, relative, I don't know. Yeah. Cool. So now let's come up with our witness. So our witness is going to be our main character and the person who's going to get destroyed by this horror. So
we get to pick. We get to handpick the person that just has a horrible life.
Yeah, welcome to story
Makes you
games
feel
where
special.
you develop something and then light it on fire. So let's do this together. So does anyone have an idea for out of the gate for a name or like a profession?
I'm thinking engineer. Something non-violent, but something critical, like an engineer.
Medical officer would also be a good one if you want that type of thing.
Yeah.
As would be like the navigator or like pilot.
I like doctor.
Also.
I like medical the medical staff person.
Cool. Are you okay with that, Sterling?
Yeah, completely.
Cool.
Medical doctor.
That could also mean researcher, depending on what they're researching, which we'll find out later.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so now the next things we got to do is we got to come up with a name for our medical doctor. We have to come up with a starting trait for our doctor, as well as the doctor's source of strength, sort of like their anchor of what they can rely on to be okay in their moments of insanity.
So we can come up with these in out of order, correct?
Correct. I'm just saying the three things that are still blank on our sheet.
Cool.
And we'll just fill it in as we need.
So I immediately just classic Lovecraftian. I think like the source of strength would just be rationality, just thinking everything through to its next logical conclusion would be a thing that they like try to do.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I also like the suggestion of a jet addiction.
Oh, nice. That's not a source. I guess that is a source of strength.
Yeah,
I mean, we can actually.
Do
you actually want? I'm actually gonna do that. Thanks, Trist. For his trait, I'm gonna have him addicted. He's gonna be addicted to something.
Oh, nice.
I think in every Lovecraftian horror, the protagonist is addicted to something, which fits really good.
Yeah, no, definitely. Cool. So now, who is our doctor? What is their name?
Addicted to something.
Yeah.
Bones, no.
First
also,
off,
would you? I was supposed to ask if we want to like a male or female protagonist.
I was going to ask the exact same thing. I like female protagonists just because they're awesome.
Yeah.
But
I was about the same, but we can go with male if you feel like. Because I mean, in this case, it's not necessarily a blessing or anything.
no, this person's gonna encounter some weird, horrific shit, anyways. So it's pretty much choose your
picking
poison.
the gender of the person you're going to kill. So
yeah.
I quite like female. I don't think we have enough female protagonists. So.
Okay. Do we have anything going for names? Like perhaps even just like an ethnicity for a name to start from?
Now I'm just staring at letters on my keyboard, trying to think
Yeah,
of
we can
names
do.
attached to each
I mean,
letter.
we can do like the standard, like boring
What, Thea?
England. Thea sounds awesome. Yeah, no,
Gregory,
no
I
offense, Sterling. No offense. I was gonna be like Victoria or something like that. Yeah. So Thea, I like Thea a lot.
Cool.
Thea. Let's go with Thea. Petronova. Done.
Cool. Thea Petronova. Now we have to remember this. Awesome.
Oh, Petrovna. It's Petrovna. Thanks, Soviet Love Hammer. There we go. So Thea Petrovna. Awesome. So she is a medical doctor, and she's addicted to something. Yet her source of strength will be rationality. Great. Cool. It's plenty of stuff to work with going into our first scene. So, now that we've finished that up, we're nearly ready to start our story. Our first scene has to contain a strange clue that has to hint at the horror to come. If anyone has any ideas for this first clue, don't share it with us yet. But you can be the narrator for the first scene. And at the end of each scene, we will then pass our roles to the person on the left. This way, everybody gets a chance to play every role. So,
Cool.
let's get a moment to think about our possible first clue, and then if we're ready to go, we can start. I have an idea for a clue.
Same.
Cool. What do you?
This would be interesting. I mean, I'm okay going first, but I'm also okay with letting you, so we can.
Oh, Sterling. Do you have anything?
Half a clue.
Half a clue. Okay. Then no, I wanna cede it to Tlick. Tlick, how about you?
All right.
You do it. So, how about this? Tlick is going to start as the narrator. Then I will be the witness, and then Sterling will be the watcher.
Cool.
At the start. So now that we have done that, Tlick, how about you go ahead and read, since you're the first narrator, read out that first part about when someone has volunteered to be the narrator.
Cool. The narrator is like the author of a book, except they don't get to control the actions of the witness. The narrator says where the scene is set and who is there apart from the witness. They describe the world, anyone the witness meets, they say what other characters do, and play them in a way an actor plays a character in a movie. The narrator should bring the watchers in pausing often to allow them to contribute details and elaborations, and ask them questions about the scene and build on their answers. Finally, they get to choose when a scene ends, or when to end the scene rather.
Okay. I'm the witness, so I will describe what the witness does. The witness is the main character, and they are in every scene. When it's your turn to play the witness, you speak for them, just like an actor would in a movie. You also say what the witness is doing, but it's up to the narrator to tell you the results of your actions. The narrator is always free to interrupt and tell you straightforward action that you're describing is probably going to be harder than you thought. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, you describe the witness's thoughts and feelings, especially their fears and attempts to rationalize the things that they will see.
Everyone else,
Accurate.
everyone else plays the Watchers. The Watchers support the narrator in a number of ways. Lovecraft's stories are full of rich, detailed, creepy, descriptive descriptions. Even. Watchers bring every scene to life by adding sensory descriptions and elaborating on what the narrator describes. They won't ever take over the scene, introduce clues, or do anything that would change the direction of the story, but they will try to intensify or heighten what the narrator says. In addition, when the narrator asks us questions, they provide an answer. They should respond with the first thing that comes to mind, never overthinking their contributions. Finally, if the witness ends up in a conversation with several characters at once, to avoid the narrator having to talk to themselves, as much as we would like to see it, they can also ask the watchers to step in and play secondary characters.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the structure of the game before we do our first scene. So, Tilek, how about you read this next part?
Cool. During the first two parts of the game, scenes are focused on revealing clues. During every scene, the narrator has to reveal at least one clue. Clues are the signs that something sinister is going on. Anything that reveals new information about the horror or sheds new light on it is a clue. Clues can be anything from eerie noise or inhuman looking footprint to an alien artifact or terrifying vision. When we introduce a clue, we write the details down on an index card, or whatever we happen to use. Whatever we write on, those index cards will be used to weave the final horror at the end of the game. We can add in bits of atmospheric detail without making them clues, but nothing really weird. And we can reuse old clues without it counting as a new clue. As long as we do so, we don't reveal anything new.
Nice.
As long as by doing so,
Yeah.
rather.
Sterling?
Lovecraft stories are slow building and until the very end, low key, leaving room for doubt as to what is going on. Everything we narrate must be possible to explain rationally, even if it strains reason a little. We can't introduce tangible evidence of the supernatural, and we encourage to leave plenty of room for doubt. We should also refrain from narrating direct evidence of violence against humans or any kind of attack on the witness. First-hand accounts of any of these things should always be from an unreliable source. They're always subject to doubt. Even so, clues should always be intriguing, baffling, or scary, not something you could easily forget or dismiss.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. So, we're going to skip the next part because we're not going to be playing with the special cards.
Cool.
So we are ready to begin our first scene. So,
Cool.
Tilek, how about you frame the scene for us?
All right, so we like pan in on the asteroid that this station is like built into.
Washrooms or whatever, like in like a clean room. So they
Yeah.
come in and it's like, hi, thanks for joining us, fellows. Just real quick, I need to go ahead and do some simple diagnostics. And she starts, doing the blah 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 on the keyboard, typing JFB and
Cool.
GSN blah blah blah.
So
and like probably has to put like a biometric thing over, and then what happens?
so Jason, one of the probably the pilot of the Cutlass.
Okay.
Thea's seen him quite a bit. He comes out here to drop off supplies, take anything that the researchers need to take to another place, whatever. He keeps acting funny, like scratching at his neck.
Oh, cool. So, okay. So Thea puts her thumb or whatever on the inner pad or whatever. It's like a hermetically sealed room, so like she has to put her like a click down onto the things. Like, Jason, no, you looked better before. What's going on?
Nothing. It's just it's he keeps stuttering, like scratching, like it's getting kind of worse as like especially once you draw his attention to it.
Hmm.
Like he just keeps like scratching and scratching.
What?
Um, you see that the other the woman probably either the co-pilot or like his wife maybe
Mm-hmm.
Anna, she's kind of like inching a little away from him and looks uneasy.
I think I'm gonna wait for the diagnostics on the computer room to finish up. So I
Sure.
imagine they get finished. So I like just a moment, Jason
Yeah.
and Anna.
So Watcher, what does the biometric say on Jason?
They register no foreign bodies within him.
Okay. Oh, cool. So like it does like one of those sort of like invasion body scanner things, and it's like
Yes,
then
yeah.
it turns green or whatever.
Yeah. As you're looking at the biometric, it like shakes the screen and the lights kind of flicker, but kind of all settles down.
Oh, cool. Oh, so like I think it like probably like stalls or something like that, and like
Yeah.
she like bangs it like the monitor, you know what I mean? And like it like refreshes again, and it looks kind of like a Pit Boy, like where like when it turns on, and she's
Yeah.
like blasted machines, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, she's just thinking it's like a just standard poor, you know, this machine was contracted out, to the lowest bidder, so
So Anna chimes in if like if you don't say something immediately when you get results, and
no.
she's like, Jason's been acting a bit funny ever since we went through the storm, I think. I wasn't at the cockpit, so I don't know. But he's been acting a bit strange. I don't know.
Hmm. All right, I'll make a note in his file that perhaps a psychiatric evaluation would be necessary in the future. But currently, Anna, Jason looks fine, and for yourself, she looks over at the screen, and after it finished rendering her biologics and stuff like that, what do I see on the screen?
Nothing abnormal, I don't think.
Okay.
It's just he looks perfectly okay. If it gives you anything about like his stress level, it's abnormally high, but maybe
Yeah. Oh, can I
you
ask
don't know.
something? Um,
Sure.
so I'm not sure what I'm addicted yet to, but does Jason is he showing signs of like a drug addiction? Like, is that kind of what it looks like?
Yeah, like if you were one to like accustomed to those type of things, it would be his what he's going through looks almost like withdrawal. That's
Yeah,
a thing.
yeah, that's what I'm think. That's what I was thinking. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think I actually might make the note when I say psychiatric evaluation. I actually like type in like looks to appear symptoms in line with withdrawal from. Uh, I like the idea of calling the drug jet withdrawal.
Sure.
Okay, well, hey, thanks for being patient, guys. Are they carrying any bags or anything like that with them?
Yeah, they have their personal backpacks that just have like
Yeah,
whatever personal effects they wanted to bring with them on station because they'll probably be here for at least like maybe a good 12 hours, maybe a full day. Um,
sure.
so yeah, they have their personal effects which they place through like you know there's like little airport scanners essentially
Yeah,
one of those, just
yeah,
more like
cool.
sci-fi.
Yeah,
Um, and then they someone else like the cargo team, if you like okay their ship, they're going to go and retrieve whatever it was that they were bringing
yeah.
back.
Yep. Okay. Looks like pilot and co-pilot have been cleared. I'm not doing like the thumb like to the people in the room, and now I'm saying it to like the radio and the rest of the people. Like so, co-pilot and pilot have been cleared. Extraction team or whatever, you're free to go look at the cargo.
So I
And
think the scene ends as
yeah.
like as Jason and Theo like as because you clear them to like enter, I think.
Yep.
They'll enter like the common area of the station, like mingle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They like we end as Jason passes like right by you and you see that he's scratching it's like something on his neck. Like it's not maybe it was nothing because you look again and you don't really see it, but there was you were pretty sure something was there. And then it's just he walks past and the doors close.
So the clue is what describe for us the clue.
Um, Jason something on his neck, like something was there.
Great. I'll just put this pilot and co-pilot of Cutlass. Awesome. Okay. So now we move over to the next scene. So now we rotate our roles. Let's read this out too. After each new scene, we get to add one new trait to the witness's index card based on how they were portrayed in that scene. We don't have to if she seems to be in line with what we already came up with, but there's something new we want to add. We totally can do that. Okay, so how about out of the gate? Is there any sort of trait that we should add? I'm not really thinking so, but
No.
Currently, she's been playing pretty like decently
Medical
into the
officer.
rationality. So yeah.
yeah. Okay. Cool. So now once we've done that trait part, now we get to play the jump to conclusions part. So now it's time to consider what we think the true horror behind everything might be. And we're going to make some pretty wild guesses, especially because we've only done one out of possibly like 16 clues. But so don't worry about it. Just independently just kind of start thinking about where this itch on Jason's neck could lead to a horror of some kind. try to like just go hog wild and leap to some sort of like full fledged a conclusion as you can right now. If you want, you might want to scribble down somewhere, not on the public viewed one, but maybe your leading theory of what it is, and then at the end of each scene, we'll be modifying it as we go along. Okay.
Yep.
So now that we've done that part, if you need any more time to think about maybe what you want the horror to be, we'll move on to the next scene.
I'm making notes on my phone.
Cool.
I have it on a separate Google Doc, so I'm good.
Awesome. Cool. So, by the way, great job with Watcher and Narrator.
Oh, thank you.
I know a couple other times when I started playing this game, there were some issues of how the narrator watcher dynamic works, and you're right on. So thank you. Cool. So let's move to the next clue. So I will be we just move all the roles over to the right. So I will be the narrator. Talik will be the witness, or excuse me, Sterling will be the witness, and then Talik will be the watcher. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. So, we are... Okay, let's just do this. We are going to be on the cut list for this scene. We start the scene with the extraction team of the cargo in the bay, and they're getting a medical alert saying, like, the doctor being like, Dr. Petronova, I think you need to come down here, like over the thing. And so like we wipe to Petronova suiting up or whatever, and going through the dock bay stuff into the cutlass and into the hull where she sees the team of like 3 guys, looking around stuff with like, and it's like dark and there's like flashlights, like the onboard lights in the hull are broken, so like you guys have to use flashlights.
Mm-hmm. So she starts turns on her flashlight when she sees people using it, and walks up and goes, "What's happened? What's the emergency?"
You used to see them. They're I think the first one says like, "Oh, doctor, I think you want to put on your mask or whatever." Like Phil smelled something strange when we came on here, just as a precaution.
So yeah, she reaches into like a satchel, I imagine she keeps, and she like puts her mask on. She goes, "What? Is it a biological contaminant? Have we got any readings on it?"
Not sure yet. We haven't seen anything like it before. So I think when you plug in your mask or whatever, like when it gets charged with a battery, it falters for a second. It bumps again, like kind of like how your machine failed. Mm-hmm. In the medical scanner, then it comes online, and it's like filtering, and it's looking for like air particles and stuff. But it says like none detective or whatever, but it's still a precaution. I imagine like we're looking at from like your heads up display. You know what I mean? Like that kind of look. So that's where it's reading all this kind of stuff. And so it's like follow me, doctor. We'll take you to the, I don't know what they would call it. Just we'll take you to it.
Yeah, she nods and starts walking.
Okay, so you guys go below the hull into like almost like what would be like the ballast of a spaceship. So it's like the undercarriage part of the cargo hold. And while they were going, like, imagine you're like going down like one of those like emergency ladders or whatever below it, and like we wouldn't have came down here except Phil was saying that there was a strange smell coming down from here. So we went to go check it out, and well, can you make any sense of it? And you're looking, so like in this hull, it's like a maintenance shaft or like the ballast, so it's nothing but just like wires and just empty like air duct space. But there is a piece of art hanging in the air duct. Watcher, can you describe us what is here?
So, it's a sculpture, I imagine. just like in the duct, like a small one, like a little figurine, or like how large is the duct, I suppose.
Oh, it's probably like low hanging ceiling of like 5.5 feet or so. So
Sure.
like
So
you're
never
like so
mind.
you know like you're like hunched down, right? Like as you but you're walking, but you're just hunched over, so you're not hitting your
Yeah.
head.
So
Like like Gandalf
it's a
and like the Hobbit house,
Yeah.
that style, right?
it's it's like a 4 foot tall, maybe like 3 foot wide sculpture. Um, it looks like it was it looks like it's made of like obsidian or something. It's just jet black, and it's just swirling like just the swirling like energies like depicted in stone. And like sometimes you think if you stare at it you think you can see faces, but really it's just this amalgamation of just like energies mixing and swirling. It almost looks like like if someone tried to sculpt like a chemical reaction, but if
Mm.
they just did it and like they were just completely fixated on a singular part of it, and then to the part where they almost like gave it human qualities where it looks almost alive.
So
So
yeah,
yeah.
seeing this, she kind of like turns to the nearest guy and goes, "Whose idea of the joke is this then?"
Phil, I think Phil chimes in over the comms. He's not present over here, but he's like, it's like no joke, ma'am. We think it might be Phalian, like like from the planet. In origin, none of us have seen this stuff. It looks something like maybe like native. Um, we
But like,
we've done initial diagnostics. It looks to be made of obsidian. What do you think?
somebody must have put you for a joke and forgot about it.
Yeah.
She looks around the duck. Is there any way it could have like fallen from something? Or was it like a sealed roof? Like, has anyone dropped this in
I
here and
think
forgotten?
I think Malik, the guy who kind of like guided you into the air duct spot here. I think Malik will actually go to go to like touch the statue or whatever, try to like pick it up to maybe move it or something, and he's like, "Oh man, like this thing is solid obsidian, man. This would be no easy feat getting out. Uh, this was not just placed here, willy nilly, you know. Like I imagine this is probably like a 500-pound statue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think Malik will look over to Thea and be like, have what were the pilot and co-pilot like?
Nothing showed up on the scans. The pilot saw the signs of addiction in him, but that's about it.
Mm.
I
All
think
right.
Thea might be panicking a little bit because
Yeah.
no one's owning up to the joke, and that's how she's kind of rationalized it to her. Like it's a big prank, but
Yeah.
no one seems to be
Good,
laughing,
good.
or there's
Yeah.
no reaction.
Well, all right. I think Malik and Phil are like, so what should we do, Doctor? Continue unloading the cargo?
Continue
I mean,
unloading, but
Nothing
don't
nothing seems wrong, but it just was weird.
scan it again. Get me some thorough diagnostics. See if there's any contagions on it, but don't move it. Don't touch it.
Right. So like, great. Okay. I think that would be the scene then. So
Cool.
so the clue is a strange obsidian statue found in the underhold of the cutlass. Cool. Awesome. So now we go back again. We look at the witness. Are there any traits that we want to add? Should we say concerned or stressed?
Stressed would definitely be one of them.
Okay. So stressed. I'll do. So Phil and Malik are cargo workers. What about the the actual horror stuff. So like once again, now we do the jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
So let's take a moment to think about it.
Mine's not changed at all.
Mine's
Yeah.
changed a little, but
My-
not really.
If anything, that's reinforced my wild assumption.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. I'm ready to proceed to the next scene. Okay. So now, Sterling, you will be the narrator. Tlick, you'll play the witness, and I will be the watcher.
Should I just start the scene, or do I have to read a thing?
No. You start the scene.
Okay. We're gonna flash forward a few days, and you're gonna be in the sensor room. Just you've come up here because sometimes you hang around. This is where the majority of people kind of are.
Mm-hmm.
So you've probably come up there for a conversation,
Sure.
something like that. It's about, I don't know, nighttime, about like 11, 12 o'clock. Not that it matters. You're in space. And they're on like a skeleton crew currently.
Mm.
And you're sat there, and you're talking to one of the communications officers called Ricky. He's relatively new to the station. He wears like a flight suit kind of thing.
Sure.
So I think Thay's probably not paying too much attention. Like she's politely nodding. She was most likely sitting up here by herself, probably trying to read or something. Like just
You sat over this like console where Ricky is, and when you're just looking away for a minute, you see on the screen like these bubbles start to form on the screen and go away as soon as you like properly look at them. And Ricky's there going, "Yeah, my wife wants to go on holiday, but I'm out here for another 5 months." He doesn't seem to notice.
I just kind of put up my finger and be like, hold that thought, please. And I go up to like see like the monitor, I guess, and I start like tapping on it and like go to try and like figure out what they were. Like what does this monitor typically monitor, I guess? Like what is it monitoring actively?
It's like the Nario, Watcher even. What is it?
Sure. So he's a communications officer. So it's looking for like traveling signals going back and forth. I imagine that they're kind of out of the way. So this is sort of like an AM radio, like space AM radio kind of listener. So it's mostly looking for any signs of like your standard like distress calls, your like cargo people going back and forth, just being like like you're okay, that kind of stuff. Just kind of that sort of communications officer.
Cool.
So technically you're supposed to be in relay, I guess, with maybe like Phalia, but like you don't really. You might only talk to them like once a day or whatever, just to make sure that everything's okay. Yep, cool. It's a very boring job.
So I guess they would just like tap the screen and be like, I think I saw some readings on your station here.
Ricky like turns and goes, "No, all quiet. We talked to Failure about an hour ago, maybe. Should be no readings here. It's all quiet here. It's very boring."
So I think like kind of nervous energy like increases a little bit. Like she starts like tapping her foot a bit, like tapping her finger against the palm of her hand, just like kind of holding it like I am. I'm just kind of like doing that. And she just kind of like looks back at the monitor. Is there like a window to like outside into space here, or?
Most definitely. It's probably like
Cool.
a entire like length of the room.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Like
Then
a
she
bay
definitely,
window.
Yes.
Then she definitely walks over there and kind of just kind of ignores Ricky. and just kind of like looks outside and just kind of like peers through into like the endless expanse of space, and just kind of looking for what those readings might have been somehow. Like she
Yeah,
expects to see it out here.
yeah. Ricky chimes up and goes, "Everyone's been really on edge since they found that statue in the air ducts. You feeling all right? Do you want to sit down?"
Huh? Huh? No, I feel fine. Just I guess it's feel like I'm waiting. That's all.
And as you look back out across, you see like the flickering, like almost electric in the distance, and then we just fade out from that scene.
Cool. Awesome. So, what how would you describe the clue?
Sort of the way I would want to picture like ping pong balls, like half a ping pong ball, started coming, like bubbling, like
Like something's boiling, like and
Yes.
melt. Yeah.
like the touch screen is boiling. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So, any change to the witness? Any new traits? Still stressed?
Disconnected, possibly.
Yep. Okay.
I'd say like I don't know if you have the term tweaking, like jitters.
Yeah.
It's also a good one.
Anxious?
Anxious. There we go. Stressed and anxious,
yeah.
not great combination.
Anxious. I would say jittery. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Now we think about the horror.
Yeah.
I have a few ideas. So now, once you guys are ready, we will rotate again and create the next scene.
All right. Cool.
Actually, since it's 11:02, how about we take our first quick 3-5 minute break, and we'll
Sure.
come back with the next scene. So I'll see you guys around
Cool.
11:06. So just hang on tight, guys.